So we're on to starting the project for real. I know there's been a lot of housekeeping so far. Everything that you've done so far other than starting the project, so all of the workspace, the windows, everything like that, that doesn't have to be done every time. I promise. And to make sure that doesn't have to be done every time, it's quite simple to save a workspace. So we've been editing the editing workspace. If you're happy with where it is so far and you're thinking, I don't want to go back from here, anything that I change within this workspace now will be changes for the good. This is a good base for me to build my workspace. If that's what you're thinking, right click up here in this tab and save as new workspace. Now you can call it anything you like. I've obviously done that before and I labeled it Adam Editing. So I'm going to save this as, I could say editing workspace, I could say anything really, but I'm going to label this as our editing, just to make it clear which workspace we're working in. Obviously, I am a jobbing working videographer and I don't want to save this as Adam Editing because that will totally ruin my professional workspace. So I'm going to save this as our editing, but you can just save it as editing or your name and editing. Anything that I don't think I've ever used editing so many times in one sentence, but you get what I say. You can save it any way you like. So once we hit OK, that's now been added all the way over here and editing is all the way over there. Now, it may not be a big deal, but if you can't quite see it, depending on what screen size you have, if you click on this little double arrow and edit workspace, you can see all of the different workspaces here. Our editing is right at the end here. Now, it doesn't look like these can be moved, but actually they can. If you grab it and pull it, you can actually bring it all the way to the beginning. If I press OK, that's now over here. You can also clean all this up if you don't want that many. I don't know anyone who uses this many workspaces. If we go back to right click and edit workspaces, learning, you can actually drag that. You can't delete that one because that's default with Adobe, but you can actually say do not show. So you can put it under a list of do not show. Actually, I've never done this before, but production, don't want to show. Meta logging, don't want to show. All panels, that is the craziest workspace ever. It literally opens all of these windows. Remember when we showed you all these windows? It opens them all. And if you haven't got if you've got anything less than maybe a 50-inch screen, it goes a little bit, yeah, overkill. So we've got our editing here. Assembly we don't use, or I'm not going to show you an assembly workspace because everything that we do is going to be in pretty much the editing workspace, other than color and maybe audio, possibly graphics, but we'll see as we move along. But you can clean this up, but for now I'm just going to hit OK, and as you can see some of these moved and we're in our editing here. Why didn't assembly go? Maybe because it doesn't have to, because there's so many spaces there. I don't know, let's have a look. Assembly, did I not move it? Let's move it. See how easy this is? You just grab what you don't want. I don't want editing because I don't want to confuse, so I'm just going to say don't show. You also have an overflow menu here, so if scripting was something you didn't really want up here, but you didn't want to have to deep dive into here, you could just put it onto the overflow menu, and that was the overflow menu right here. See where scripting is there? Everything is so customizable in this. It's brilliant.